This is Trevor Sternad from the Black Dahlia Murder here, and you're listening to the Everblack podcast.
Hey, humans, Carl, this is odorous from Quad.
Going to the Fear Factory.
This is George Corshunter Fisher.
This is Gas from Double Drop.
This is Wade from Our Last Enemy.
Magnificent Suicidal Tendencies.
Hey, this is Wednesday 13. This is Rex from Kill Devil Hill.
This is Gary Lee from Sepultura, and you're listening to Everblack Podcast.
Before we go into this episode of the Everblack Podcast, we just need to give a shout out to our show supporters, the occult clothing brand Electric Witch, who have amazing apparel from shirts to hoodies to hats to beanies, dresses and more. Check out their full range at electricwitch.com.au and put in the code Everblack for 20% off your order. Also, don't forget to subscribe, rate and review the Everblack Podcast on Spotify and iTunes podcast streams, and see all our video interviews on the Everblack YouTube channel. You can also read all our articles and reviews at everblack.com.au. All right, on with the show. Tim, thanks for joining us on the show, brother. How's everything going down there in Perth?
Pretty good, mate. Yeah, just taking it as it comes. We're getting our set ready for the Legacies live show that we've got in a couple of weeks, November 28th. And just busting our asses to try and get that set as tight as possible, so we can just give it to the people the way it should be.
Smash it. That's exciting, dude. Mm-hmm. I mean, have you played it all while this is have you jammed?
Yeah, since COVID, we've Perth actually got off pretty lightly compared to the rest of the country. So gigs actually have been happening for a while. We have done a couple since then. We actually did a Metallica tribute show about a month ago, I think, which was pretty rad. Yeah, just kind of got up in front of a sold out audience and just busted a bunch of like And Justice for All era and, Ride the Lightning and Master of Puppets era Metallica. So yeah, it was a blast.
That's awesome.
But in terms of doing our own thing, it's been few and far between. So yeah, we're just really keen as to, bring a headliner in and just do the show the way we want, full lighting and, all the full production kind of thing. So yeah, we're just as keen as.
Absolutely, especially with this new album, man. Legacies that came out last month, and it's such a good album, man. Like, it's just been smashing it absolutely everywhere. It's gotten great responses, great reviews. Did 2020 have any effect on it? Apart from the shows, being able to play shows, did that stall it at all?
Yeah, I think it inevitably some of that kind of essence, seeps its way in. We had the bulk of it recorded and done and dusted. We were pretty much looking at getting it out like Q4 of last year, and then kind of a few things just got a little bit hiccuped, and then so we were kind of looking at Q1 this year, and then the world pretty much went into lockdown. And so, all the tour plans that we were starting to formulate around that time, all of that kind of fell by the wayside. And, like most bands, we kind of went into a bit of limbo as to, do we kind of hold it close to our chests and then, release it when we know we're going to be able to get out and tour again. And then as the year went on, it just became really plainly obvious that there was like no end in sight. And no kind of prospect of, national or international touring, to be able to really make any decent headway off it. So we kind of came to that decision just to just get it out, just get it done, bring it out, give it to the people who wanted to listen to it, who have been, staying incredibly patient with the band for so long. And once we kind of had that in our minds that it was, full steam ahead and we were going to get it out, that kind of 2020 vibe just kind of, like I said before, I just managed to kind of, I don't know, just give it a bit more weight, I think. Yeah. Really, just kind of put a bit more behind it. Everyone's just kind of feeling the songs pretty deeply. I think we're getting some pretty strong reactions from a lot of different people. And I guess an element of that is just that hunger for people, to have something to kind of tide them over while, the world around us seems to be like a, you know, massive period of uncertainty, you know, not just COVID, but everything in the US and just all over the world. There's just so much happening. So, I think art is the true refuge of that a lot of people, you know, take and run with. So, yeah.
100%, bro. I mean, this year has been fantastic for music. I mean, it's
Yeah,
been a shit year for a lot of people, but
yeah,
musically, I personally feel we've been really spoiled. And I
yeah. No,
know,
I 100% agree with that. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's been some absolute belters come out this year. You know, it's just like you say, mate. Maybe that, you know, that 2020 vibe has just kind of got into everyone, and, you know, everyone's got the fire. Everyone's releasing some awesome gear, and yeah, we'll just try and just hope that 2021 kind of opens everything up a little bit, and, you know, helps us connect with our, you know, our friends, you know, east coast of Australia and around the world as well.
and the thing is, everyone's going to learn the lyrics. It's going to
Yeah.
come like, you know what I mean? When you start touring again and people come to the show,
Yeah,
you know, they're not going to have 2 weeks to learn it. They've had all that time to learn the lyrics. That everyone will know it.
yeah.
They'll be singing along and hungry for it, which is awesome.
That's definitely a thought that has crossed all of our minds. You know, that benefit of you know, everyone having a little bit more breathing space with it. You know, to maybe, you know, go past the first singles and really delve deep into the album, and, you know, get there and realize when we're playing, you know, one of the deeper cuts off it, that, you know, everyone will know the words and kind of know the structures and know what it's all about. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, I think you know, with us rehearsing at the moment, you know, the songs are pretty much sounding like a really, really great representation of what we recorded. So, yeah, just can't wait for, you know, people to vibe off it in a live setting.
Absolutely, bro. And of course, I mean, a few of you guys ended Parenthood, I believe.
Yeah,
Who's
so
that?
Dave, just Dave.
Okay.
Dave, our singer, had his second child, and that was definitely one of the kind of events that happened around the making of the album.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can't just kind of have a kid and just keep showing up to jam, you know,
Yeah,
twice a week, keep recording 3 nights a week. It just doesn't work that way. And none of us really wanted to, you know, be that guy to kind of pressure him into doing that as well, because we all have our lives, we all have, you know, our jobs, our houses, our significant others, and in Dave's case, his kids as well. So that, you know, yeah, it just definitely from a place of mutual respect. I think everyone kind of just allowed this album to kind of take its path in a bit more of a natural way, rather than just kind of, you know, just saying kind of get in there and get it done kind of thing. So, yeah.
Did that have much of effect on the actual album itself? Like
In terms of
and music and
I think we've kind of glossed, we've kind of touched on it a little bit in terms of the lyrical content, and I do think that has played a part in, you know, in the vibe of the album. You know, it's been kind of said, whereas the human connection was, you know, kind of about Dave's relationship with, you know, with his dad, and, you know, dealing with the grief of his passing.
yeah.
With this one, it's kind of the next generation of, you know, him relating to his kids and kind of seeing the world through their eyes, and also understanding, you know, specifically in, you know, in the title Legacies, is kind of understanding, you know, what kind of a world we want to leave for our kids and the ones behind us, and, you know, understanding that, you know, our actions and, yeah, the way that we relate to our kids, it kind of informs their worldview and all of that kind of stuff. So from that aspect, yeah, I think that experience for Dave really did kind of, you know, add a deeper level of meaning to the album, and we can all obviously relate in our own ways, whether it be directly or indirectly. So yeah, it's just a blast to play, and you know, to kind of just let yourself be a little bit vulnerable when it comes to experiencing that message behind the music. And yeah, I think it's been a really tough year for a lot of people in a lot of different ways. And the kind of transference of what Dave's talking about, you know, you can kind of fill your own experience with those words and that essence in a really powerful way. So I think that may be a part of why people are vibing, you know, pretty hard on some of the gear. So
there's a song, Only Son, which is, that's a beautiful song, man. I'm trying to work out what angle it's coming from. It seems like it's a really personal song. Do you know what the meaning behind that one is?
Yeah, I probably won't go into it too much, just to avoid kind of, you know, taking away from what each individual person will have already kind of put, you know, from themselves into that song.
Yep, I understand.
Yeah, but you're definitely right in terms of it being deeply personal. As with, you know, I would dare say the whole album, you know, is pretty personal for both Dave, and then we all kind of, you know, have our own like I said, our own interpretations and what it means to each of us, and that definitely translates to us performing it in a live setting as well. You just try and feed off that as much as possible, send it out to the audience, whatever the audience gives back to you kind of becomes that, it just becomes that circle of energy which we'll live for, you know.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. It's a cracker of an album, man. And you know, I do love that track, and it's definitely got heavy moments as well. I mean, like some real belters, like man, False Flag, of course. You know, I love that one especially. And being a drummer, do you like those ones especially because you get to smash them out a bit harder and go a little crazy?
Yeah, I guess I do come from a bit more of that heavier background. So that's just kind of the bread and butter of what I've been doing as a drummer for the best part of 15 years, you know. So yeah, it was also great joining the band kind of when this album was, you know, had a little bit of stuff happening on it already. The guys really gave me a lot of latitude in terms of deconstructing, you know, what was there, putting my own vibe on it, and they were really open to bringing a little bit more of that, the roots of the band being more of that, you know, technical side, that more death metal influence side, the speed, you know, the technicality, that kind of thing. They really weren't afraid to just say, yeah, man, just do your thing. And I think that you know has led to, like you say, you know, the False Flags, and I think it's good as well. Like you know, a song like Behind the Seal, where
I was going
to
say that one too. Yeah,
just to have that more sludgy, you know, down tempo, like Pantera influence, and you know, the Gojira in there and all that kind of stuff as well. So yeah, definitely not too afraid to wear our influences on our sleeve when we feel like it will suit you know, suit our music. And yeah, definitely
gonna go off live. I can't wait to hear them live. They're gonna be so
good.
They're gonna smash it. It's gonna be so awesome.
yeah, there's definitely those moments where it's just like, I think I'm just gonna start hitting just a little bit harder now, and by the end of the song, it's snapping sticks left, right, and center. So,
what are you drinking? What's your beer of choice tonight? What's on the menu?
Homebrew, mate. Got a nice lager that I just kegged on the weekend. It's got a little bit of time still to clear up, but yeah, no, it's pretty decent. Yeah, we're having people around for New Year's. So I want to get 3 beers on the go for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, starting the brewing. So yeah.
So is that an open invitation? Is it?
Yeah, mate. If you're in town, yeah.
Not everyone. Not everyone. Knocking on your door, dude.
Could get rowdy if that was the case.
That's it. Eh?
Yeah.
You heard it here. Party at Tim's, New Year's. No, don't do it. Don't show up at his house unannounced. Well, the title track as well, it reminds me of like Vangelis. It's very
okay,
cinematic and it's got that sort of Blade Runner-y feel to it. I really like that little piece, and man,
yeah, that's a good pick, man. That Blade Runner pick, that's pretty accurate, I think. Yeah, that kind of sci-fi element to it. But yeah, I think a lot of the guys have been listening to some of that more kind of synthy kind of stuff lately, which definitely kind of influenced aspects of the whole album, but in particular Ryan with he really took the lead on that title track, Legacies, like getting that together. It was kind of envisioned as like an intro piece to the closer into the now, and yeah, it kind of just kind of fit well enough on its own to stand alone, rather than just kind of have it as like a, you know, kind of secret back in or something like that, you know. So yeah, I think we're going to open our set with that combo on the 28th. Yeah, Legacies, and then into the now. So
spoilers.
Spoiler alert. Yeah.
No, it's awesome. So good. And you know, of course, I mean, after all the love that, you know, Colliding Skies got, did you feel that, you know, there was a lot of pressure following that up, since, you know, you joined the band after that release and, you know, being, you know, full length with them? Did you feel that, you know, you got thrown into the thick of it?
I wouldn't necessarily say that in any kind of a negative way.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like I think it kind of, you know, definitely have had. I've known these guys for so long. You know, bands that I've been in Perth, we've been playing with Chaos Divine since, you know, 2005, 2006, and I've been hanging around with these guys so much that, you know, there wasn't really any you know, like ego aspect or anything like that to, you know, there wasn't really any hazing or anything like that. It kind of just came in and they said, yeah, mate, you know, you got your drum kit, just kind of do your thing. But yeah, just knowing what a powerhouse Ben was as a drummer, like I definitely knew I had to do the songs justice for what was recorded and what was already done, while kind of, you know, putting my own essence on top of it. So yeah, in terms of
absolutely, bro.
Thank you, man. Yeah, thanks for saying, man. It kind of they definitely weren't afraid to just say, okay, so we know what was done, but if you think you can kind of just give it that 1%er just to kind of take it up, don't be afraid to get stuck in. So yeah, there are bits where, you know, I mean, we've, you know, most drummers have got, you know, 2 arms and 2 legs, and that's pretty much as similar as it gets, you know what I mean? But like everyone is completely different in their approach, in their mind, in the way that their drums set up. So there's some bits which kind of just completely didn't work really for the way my brain works, you know what I mean? But they weren't afraid to just say, yeah, that's cool. You know, this other thing that you kind of jammed and showed us, that kind of works really well as well, without taking anything away from the song, or even in a lot of cases, just kind of, like kicking it up and giving it a bit more of that, that kind of oomph, you know, from that kind of heavy background of where I've come from. So yeah, in that regard, yeah, I couldn't say anything kinder about, you know, each and every one in the band for the way that they kind of welcomed me in and just kind of let me go at it, you know.
But I mean, you've been with them for a while now anyway.
Yeah.
So I mean,
yeah, so
recording with them. So
yeah, for sure. So yeah, I joined at the beginning of 2018 or the very end of, you know, 2017, just when Ben decided to call it a day. So yeah, I have had a lot of time to settle in. So by the time this album came out, I would consider myself kind of fully fledged. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not really the new guy anymore. Yeah. So, but yeah. There's always space to grow, and you know, now that this one's out, we'll, you know, ride it as far as we can. But yeah, I kind of can't wait to see what the next evolution is as well. You know, with you know, a lot of, with Legacies being kind of, probably 75% of it was fairly solid before I joined. I think with the new one, it's just going to be 100% all 5 of us collaborating in, and I just can't wait to see what we bring.
Saying new one, is there more on the way? Have you guys been working on more tunes?
There will be, yeah. We're nothing solid at the moment, but just there's some things mulling around in the old noggin.
Cooking.
Yeah. You can't help it. Yeah, you can't help it. Like there's just always things. We'll always have like a noodle in between songs at jam or whatever, and occasionally you just kind of lock into a bit of a thing, and you think, ooh, might have to keep that one.
Yeah, you got to hit record, man. Get the phone out.
Record.
Don't lose that. Yeah, I'm always saying to my boys, don't lose that shit. Get your phone out. Record it.
Record it.
Yeah, that's it. Eh?
Yeah.
So, I mean, of course, what's been the most memorable experience since joining for you? Has there been one show in particular that's, blown them all away?
That's a really hard one, man. I think on the Progfest tour, which was the first time out for me with the band, there were a couple of those shows which I'll remember forever, like Croxton Band Room in Melbourne. Was just hectic. Like that was essentially the first time that anyone on the East Coast had seen me with the band, and it was just completely unexpected. Like we kind of finished the set and they were like chanting my name, they were just like chanting out Tim, and I was like, where the hell did that come from?
Yeah, that's so good.
Yeah, it just made me feel like super welcome, and it was like a packed house there. I think we played really well, and that will kind of always stick in my memory. Aside from that, there's just been heaps of sick shows, man. The first show that I actually did with them was in Perth, supporting Arch Enemy. So that was that was a pretty good one as well. Yeah. So the first kind of thing, as with most, when you're supporting a massive headliner like that, you kind of set up on the front of the stage in a little bit of a corner and kind of do your thing. but we just smashed it, got a really good reception, and I think that was like a pretty good kind of blessing and birth into the live scene of Chaos for me. So that they'll always stick in my mind, those two for sure.
That's a good one. That's actually a really good one. But man, I guess once everything goes back to normal, you guys better get your asses back up here to Queensland. That's for sure.
I love it in Queensland. Yeah. In a couple of the bands that I've played in, every tour that we've done to Queensland has just been massive. It's just been so much fun up there. Just heaps of sick memories from every tour that I've done in Brisbane. Like all the mates that we've got up there now, and all the bands and all that. Yeah, Disentomb, Aversion's Crown. Those guys.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
In the old band that I was in, Iconoclast, we toured with those guys a bit and played shows here and there with them, and it's always great to catch up with them whenever I can. If I'm ever in Brisbane or if they're ever in Perth, always just try and talk drums and have a few beers or whatever.
And not in that order.
Yeah, you kind of got to do it at the same time. As much as you can.
Well, dude, I appreciate you hanging out on the show tonight, man. The new Chaos Divine album, Legacy. It's been a long day. Let me rewind that one. I do that all the time. The new Chaos Divine album, Legacies, is out now. All the links will be down here, as I always say. All the best to you and the boys, mate. And as I said, I haven't got a mug. I'm going to beer tonight. I usually have a beer. I say we'll have the cold ones ready for you. So
nice.
Let's do it soon.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. And borders are starting to open up, mate. So if you're ever in Perth, hit us up and we'll sing some home brews.
Man, put me down. I'm a fan of the beers.
Yeah, nice.
Awesome, man.